Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to talk about common assessments at Hazlitt Middle School. As you know, this is the first year we are embarking on administering common assessments in all of our math classrooms on a quarterly basis. So it's important for us to understand why we're using these assessments and what we hope to get out of them. We all know data is needed to inform classroom practice. However, Dufour and Aker pointed out from their research that truly informative data requires multiple points of comparison. Simply analyzing our once annual PARCC data is not enough to have a good understanding of what our students can and cannot do. The data we gather will help us to assess the effectiveness of our curriculum, our students' strengths and weaknesses as they relate to each individual math standard, and the impact of our instructional resources. Most importantly, however, the data will help us to make immediate, individualized instructional decisions for the benefits of our students. The inclusion of common assessments will help us to have multiple points of comparison, including formative assessments that are happening every day in your classrooms, as well as our annual PARCC data. These multiple points of comparison will help us to truly track our students' progression throughout the school year. We will administer the common assessments using Linkit. Each assessment has a total of 20 questions and should be delivered in the course of one academic block. 17 of the questions are delivered and graded on Linkit in order to get immediate feedback and results. 3 of the questions are open-ended and will require teacher grading using a provided rubric. All students who receive accommodations for testing will receive those accommodations when taking the quarterly common assessments. Also, the question types and formats will mimic PARCC so our students can be best prepared for the end-of-year assessment. We recognize that this new implementation will require some support for teachers. You've already been involved in collaborating regarding standards and resources, and you've already had an opportunity to provide feedback on the assessment you're administering this marking period 1. You've also been provided with pacing guides and question sets to help keep you on track throughout the marking period and also to ensure that your students are meeting each of the benchmarks that are needed for success on the quarterly assessment. As you know, we've also implemented this year a math coach who can help guide you throughout this entire process. And finally, we're going to meet quarterly to analyze the data and offer feedback to our math supervisor and district leadership. When we piloted the Common Assessment in June 2017, we were able to gather some data to highlight standards needing focus, to provide us with the roadmap we need moving forward. Here's a glimpse at our 7th grade results. You can see that there are multiple areas that need focus. However, we can prioritize based on the percentage correct for each individual question aligned to each individual standard. The same is true for our 8th grade results. But most importantly, for our individual student results, we can review each individual student's answers, provide feedback as well as links to additional practice, and also see how each question aligns to the standards so we can follow our students' progression on understanding each concept contained within the standard. There are always pros and cons to a new implementation of an assessment. One thing that we've already determined as a pro is that our teachers are collaborating and talking about standards and data as they never have before. We've also seen that immediately upon implementation of common assessments, pacing guides, and question sets aligned to the standards, we're able to hone in on our students' individual needs and provide small group instruction and personalized learning driven by their learner needs. Some of you might be thinking that there are some cons associated with this implementation as well. Do 20 questions accurately assess all standards? Is it too early to determine all of our concerns? It's possible. We will reassess mid-year so we can see if we're on the right track, if we need to make some adjustments to the way that we're implementing the assessments, or if we're okay moving forward this year and taking another look at the beginning of next school year. As you know, you'll administer the Marking Period 1 assessment during the week of November 13th. The teachers will gather as a group to analyze data on November 29th. and we've worked hard as a district to set a path to move forward. Based on the administration of the Common Assessment and the data that we analyze, we will develop an action plan that will inform district and school professional development, will design our coaching needs, will help us to review resources and to implement personalized instruction. It will also help us to inform revisions to our curriculum and to help guide articulation district-wide. Thank you for everything you do to support our students and their individual learning needs. We know that Common Assessments will help us along this path and will be one more step in our path towards meeting the needs of every learner at Hazlitt Middle School. Thank you.